It was one of the most popular and longest-running sitcoms of its time.
Ooh, I love that sound.
What part of Family Matters do you love? Is it the funny inventions of Steve Urkel, his comical appearance, and the catchphrase, "Did I do that?" Or the Winslow family dynamics? There is always one thing that gets your mind glued to the show. Family Matters was not just a family show, it was a trend. There are still more interesting facts to know about the movie. We have gathered 20 of them, and some of them are weird. Do you want to know which of them? Keep watching the video. Number 20. Family Matters was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. The whole idea of Family Matters got its roots from Perfect Stranger. We call it a spin-off. How did they come about the spin-off? Family Matters was developed around the character of Harriet Winslow, played by Jo Marie Payton. Harriet was a recurrent guest in The Perfect Strangers, working as the elevator operator in the newspaper building where the main characters, Balki Bartokomous and Larry Appleton, worked. Her character captured the attention of many fans, earning her high admiration. ABC and the producers loved the character Harriet for her excellent morale and quick-witted humor. The producer created a show focusing on Harriet, her husband Carl Winslow, a Chicago police officer played by Reginald VelJohnson, and their 3 children, Eddie, Laura, and Judy. The show narrates the daily lives of the Winslows, a middle-class African-American family living in Chicago, and their eccentric neighbor Steve Urkel. The show succeeded wildly, especially after introducing the Steve Urkel character. Perfect Strangers significantly influenced the success of Family Matters since the story was built on it. The two shows shared 4 crossover episodes where Harriet was introduced and got the attention of fans. Moving on to Family Matters was building on the success gained from Perfect Strangers. Balki Bartokomous and Larry Appleton, the main characters in Perfect Match, were mentioned in Family Matters, further solidifying the connection between the two shows. Comparing the success of the shows, Perfect Strangers started with a good reputation, and the success started coming in from the very first season, with 5 out of 6 episodes landing in the top 10 highest-rated shows. On the other hand, Family Matters had a slow momentum to the top. The first season registered a modest rating, and Steve Urkel sped up the growth. Let's talk about Steve Urkel's character next. Number 19. How Steve Urkel came on the show.
The 24 episodes out of 215 that I did, they only keyed in on Steph.
According to the show plan, Steve Urkel was planned to be a one-time guest star, appearing once and then going off. Still, Jalil White's excellent execution of the role got fans wanting more, including the show producers. He started captivating the minds of the producers right from the moment of his audition. When the fans' positive reviews ticked in, it was the perfect green light they had been waiting for. Steve Urkel's first appearance on the show was in Season 1, Episode 12, titled Laura's First Date. The show introduced him as a nerdy young boy with an annoying personality and nasally voice who was meant to take Laura on a date. From that episode, he captured the viewers' minds. In Season 2, his character was upgraded and assigned a recurrent role. The introduction of Steve Urkel into the show was a transformational point. The show's rating got an unimaginable boost. Everyone loved Steve Urkel. His iconic outfit became a subject of discussion among viewers, and his suspenders, high water pants, and unique bright smile fascinated several people. That is not the only thing fascinating about Urkel. His goofy inventions, which always turn out to malfunction or cause chaos, usually get everyone rolling with laughter. Then, after the invention failed, you hear the catchphrase, "Did I do that?" The viewers were glued to that action and everyone expected more of his funny inventions. Jalil White was a major player in the movie. Steve's catchphrase and smile were his inventions. He helped develop the character to the point of starting from the low end of a guest star to the central star in the movie, which was nothing short of amazement. Jalil revealed in an interview that coming on the show wasn't easy. The cast was unfriendly when he first came on the show, but he didn't allow that to stop him. Progressively, he built a good relationship with the crew and everything went smoothly. How does Steve's nasal voice sound to you? Is it annoying or funny? Hold on tight as we explore the subject in the following fact. Number 18. Steve Urkel high-pitched, nasally tone. It is easy to recognize Steve Urkel just by hearing his voice, even without watching the television. His high-pitched nasal tone was unique. The voice sounds funny and annoying, But on the other hand, people love it as it adds to the character's lovable nerdiness and comedic charm. When watching the show, have you ever asked how Jalil White created the funny voice, or was it part of the script? The iconic voice wasn't part of the script. It was all part of Jalil's creative ingenuity, the things he did to make Steve a fun and interesting character. How did he still come about that funny voice? A show host was also curious as everyone and asked him the same question during an interview. He replied that the voice was inspired by his experiences as a nerd in school. He only tried to create a character that resonated with those traits. This answer from Jalil exposed one thing. His excellence in the role of Steve Urkel stems from his real experience. It is not a surprise that he did excellently in the role, and it turned out that the role so far is the most successful role Jalil has had in his acting career. The role amplified his acting career and also pierced it. It was a double-edged sword. The nasal voice also had a terrible impact on him. Jalil revealed his experience as Steve Urkl during an interview with 90s Con in 24 held in Daytona Beach, Florida. He talked about the complexities surrounding the nasally voice, which required him to alter his voice to create the signature high-pitched, congested sound. If the stunt were a one-time thing, it wouldn't have been a problem. But the show was aired for 9 years between 1989 and 1998. The long period of filming in a nasal, high-pitched tone affected him. The alteration ultimately damaged his voice. He realized this situation after speaking to a doctor during a consultation over his voice issue. The issue started when complaints started coming in from the viewers. People dropped feedback saying, "We can't hear him, please be clearer." Then the TV network brought the feedback to him. Jalil realized that what started as a funny moment no longer amused the audience. He needed to work on his voice. The problem didn't endure for long. He went over the damage, and he is fine now. Number 17. Steve Urkel controversial statement. Have you ever wondered why you don't get to see Steve Urkel often in movies following his success in Family Matters? You are about to get your answer. Immediately after The Family Matter ended in 1989, White got on another show, Grow-Ups, a UPN comedy series. It was a short-lived show that aired between 1999 and year 2000. After that, no one was coming for White. What could be happening? The issue can be traced to what he said following the cancellation of Family Matters in 1998. Shortly after the show cancellation, he made a cryptic remark in an interview stating, "If you ever see me do that character again, take me out and put a bullet in my head and put me out of my misery." White has been strongly connected to the Steve Urkel character, so coming up with that word left movie producers no option but to ignore him. What better role could he play than the funny, goofy, nerdy guy? No one knows the reason why White came up with such an extreme remark. Maybe it was because he was still a young 21-year-old actor who hadn't fully learned the ethics of public relations, or probably the loss of his close friend and co-star, Michelle Thomas, from an aggressive form of stomach cancer, got him disillusioned. Whatever it was, the statement was a big mistake that shadowed his career. Years later, he realized his mistake, and he addressed the bullet statement during an interview with Vanity Fair in 2011. He said, "It's one of those things that it's miserable how quotes are taken out of context. I remember that interview very vividly. I loved playing those characters, but the fact is that I was maturing. To be honest, I was retarding my growth as a man to maintain the authenticity of what I thought that character should be. Although the character doesn't resonate with his changes, he should have expressed his perspective mildly. He could have taken other roles and created another identity through them, the way he made an identity through Steve Urkel. Deciding to undo what he had done for the 9 years in an interview can be described as the most significant disillusionment ever." Number 16. The business impact of the show. Family Matters grew beyond the movie to become a business inspiration for several investors. Since the show gained so much popularity and became a culture in the neighborhood, getting a brand around it could be a bestseller. It is not a bad move anyway. Let's explore the two products branded after the Family Matters show. The first was the Urkl dolls. Going by the name, you could guess what it was talking about. The Urkl dolls were a popular merchandise item based on the character of Steve Urkl. His appearance on the show is already becoming a big trend everywhere, with the suspenders. High-water pants and a signature hairstyle have earned the reputation of amusing many people. Getting a doll to represent that appearance will make a good business. Since the look on TV amuses people, the doll could also do the same. It was a good decision. Children loved the doll. They could engage in imaginative play, create scenes in their house's comfort, and have their own Steve Urkel adventures. The doll made a good sale while the show was active. After the show was canceled, it also disappeared. In case you still want to have a feel for the doll, it is available in rare and vintage collectibles. Another merchandise item that got its roots from the Family Matters show was the Urkel O's. Have you come across that cereal, or have you tasted its yummy taste? Well, you might not be getting that imaginative, yummy taste, as people who had an experience of the cereal found it not to be as yummy as expected. The formula of the cereal consists of strawberry and banana-flavored loops, similar to Fruit Loops. People complained about the taste, saying it was too sweet or artificial. When such a strong complaint keeps coming in, you can guess what happens to the business. It hits its dead end. The cereal couldn't make a mark in commercial sales, although the branding was fantastic, featuring the funny pictures of the popular nerd Steve Urkl on its boxes. Steve maintained different dance poses on the box, and a promotional offer was attached like "Help Urkel Find Laura" games and the Urkel for President campaign buttons. None of the promotional offers fascinated the people, even the prize of a trip to Washington, D.C., or a meet and greet with Jalil White. The snack, which Ralston Foods introduced in 1991, only had promotional offers to give. The real product couldn't measure up. You know the remainder of the story? It was short-lived and shut down. Number 15. The setting of the show. Every film production needed a location to center its filming. For Family Matters, the perfect location was Chicago. The question is, why was Chicago picked among all other places? You can't deny Chicago's urban setting and its power to reveal the urban backdrop for the show. The show's storyline reveals an urban lifestyle, and Chicago is a perfect spot to achieve such a plot. If you talk about one of the most popular cities people can easily relate to, you will undoubtedly pick Chicago. Since the producer wanted to create a series that people could easily relate to, a movie that people will watch and scream behind their screen, I know that place and all sorts, Chicago is the best place to achieve such remarks. It lets the viewers connect easily to the show and the character, which helps get a good rating. The movie was centered on comedy and satire, and Chicago is characterized as a vibrant and eclectic city. You get to meet the craziest set of people there. Crazy people like Steve Urkel and the Winslow family. Chicago was beyond location to the show producer. It was a source of inspiration. Regarding production, finance is a big consideration, and the area has a significant percentage to determine the direction of the finance, whether it will go on the high side or the affordable side. Chicago was a more affordable option. The show producer could have gotten tax incentives. Also, the production conditions were favorable due to access to diverse locations, making it an attentive choice for filming. However, most interior scenes were filmed at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, California. This integration gave a perfect match. The bustling city of Chicago and the exquisite studio space in Burbank turned the movie from a fictional show to a reality. You could get carried away thinking that the show was a reality show of a family elsewhere. Did you notice that the famous Willis Tower appeared in the movie? That was not the only Chicago landmark that got its way in the film. We have Wrigley Field, Millennium Park, the city's skyline, and the neighborhood. A house on Wrightwood Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, was used to produce the exterior shot of the Winslow residence. If you want to tour the home, know that new owners have demolished it. Number 14. The big impact of the show. On future family sitcom, Family Matters ended up becoming a pace setter for other shows to follow. It brought new narratives and defined new perspectives, which future show producers adopted in their family sitcom shows. Before Family Matters, most show producers believed creating a show filled with whites was the only goldmine, a sure success avenue. Producing a family sitcom around an African-American family might not be able to gain any weight. Family Matters proved the mindset wrong. The show revealed African-American families in a positive and relatable way, causing a more diverse representation in family sitcoms. Other show producers learned from the success of Family Matters, building a show centered on the Black American family. The urban setting in Family Matters is another captivating part of the movie. It explores city life and the issues accompanying it. That proved an innovative step. Most family sitcoms of that era usually centered their storyline around traditional suburban settings. They believed a family could only be revealed through the conventional and conservative setting, while cities are for action movies and youthful movies. Family Matters changed the perspective. It made it possible for family series to have a place in the city. The movie also focused on the less explored topic of raising a family in the town, which became an eye-opener for other show producers. And they jumped on the idea. You can also commend the show for creating a character-driven comedy. It was not another show where a character needs to execute funny script lines to amuse the viewers. Steve Urkel's personalized comedy, even without cracking jokes, his look and appearance create a comedy feeling. Show producers realized that developing a character that looks funny would help to create a better comedy flair for their show. If there is something you will learn from the movie, it will be real-world issues like racism, bullying, and social responsibility. Battling such issues added a realistic feel to the movie, and it was an out-of-the-box approach. The popular shows believed that creating a fictional family sitcom with an imaginative storyline to satisfy the fantasy craving of viewers was a great deal. Family Matters experimented with telling stories that solved real social issues in a real way, and boom, it succeeded, though the success was momentarily. Older sitcoms addressed the relationship in the family in different ways. Before Family Matters came on board, it brought about the upgrade of exploring relationships between parents and children and extended families and neighbors. So, the sitcom transcended the only my family storyline to explore a storyline with a more expanded relationship, not just exploring it, but delving into it to create a good connection. Number 13, the guest actor on the show. Quite a good number of guest actors featured on the show. Notable among them is Johnny Gill, a renowned American singer who played himself in 3 episodes of the movie, granting the request of Steve to serenade Laura Winslow. The scene appeared in Season 3, Episode 20. Strangely, Urkel had to trade his prized baseball card to get Johnny Gill's approval. Another singer on the show featured as a recurring guest actress was Tammy Townsend, who played the role of Greta McClure, Eddie Winslow's girlfriend. She appeared in 13 episodes. We also have Barry Jenner, the iconic actor, playing the role of Lieutenant Lou Martaw. More people were on the guest actor list. The show producers leveraged these actors to create new faces and interests. Number 12. Conflicts that ensured in the movie. Conflict among casts is not strange since people of different interests and backgrounds work together. The possibility is even higher regarding long-duration series like Family Matters. The show aired for 9 years, and there will be a time when things shift to the wrong side. Issues started brewing when Steve Urkel's popularity grew. Some cast members were uncomfortable with the resulting events. Issues of being sidelined were raised, especially from the main character that Steve met on the show, Reginald VelJohnson, who played Carl Winslow, and Jo Marie Payton, who played Harriet Winslow, felt concerned about the movie's direction. Primarily, the film was written based on their family, but now everything is about Steve Urkel. Steve's workload became overburdening. The show writers wrote more episodes around him, disregarding the other cast. The cast felt that Steve's drama was causing a change in the show's family dynamics. Attention was being taken from the original storyline of the movie, and a significant weight was being thrown behind Steve's antics. The tension kept building till it led to disagreements between White and Jo Marie Payton. The altercation became so intense that White allegedly considered physically fighting Payton. The reason for the disagreement was the direction of a scene. Steve believed in a direction different from Payton. Being the show's superstar, Steve thought he could influence the movie's direction, but Payton disagreed. It took the intervention of Darius McCrary to prevent the situation from worsening. Quarrels are inevitable whenever 2 or more human beings work together. The important thing is to find a level ground for reconciliation. Years later, the actors outgrow their differences, reconcile, and reunite. The actors often attend events together, showing their peaceful relationship. Number 11. Syndication of the movie. Family Matters' fame grew so strong that many other local channels showed interest in putting the show on their channel, which brought about the subject of syndicating the movie. In September 1993, Warner Brothers worked on improving the global achievement of the series by distributing Family Matters for broadcast in off-network syndication. The show finds its way on different stations in the United States and the global sector. Some television channels kept transmitting the show till 2002 after the show's cancellation in 1998. However, in 2022, most television stations dropped the show, while some retained broadcasting it. Stations like WTOG in Tampa, Florida, continued to air Family Matters until 2005. New York's WPIX kept serving their audience the show till 2006. TBS Superstation also joined the train of stations showing the movie. They aired 2 episodes of the show every week and continued till 2003. The series was aired on several other channels, the most recent of which was TV1, which aired the show between 2019 to 2023. While the show made it to Canada and was aired on CTV, CBC, and is still being broadcast on family channels, the legacy of the unique series lives on. Recently, the show was picked by Hulu for online streaming in 2017. HBO Max also followed the trend by putting the show on their streaming platform after Hulu's rights for the show expired in 2021. Many TV stations aired the show, while some have reconsidered airing the show again due to substantial demand from viewers. Remember, the show ended in 1998, yet people haven't grown tired of the show. There is a strong nostalgic experience attached to the show. The fun didn't exclude the present generation. There is no better way to create a show with an enduring legacy. Number 10. Jo Marie Payton left the show. Do you realize the absence of Jo Marie Payton midway through the last season? If you recognize this, have you asked why she left? Let's dig deep into the reason. Toward the show's cancellation in Season 9, Jo Marie Payton perceived creative stagnation taking hold of the show. The show grew boring, and she felt stuck in a rut. She wasn't the type of person who could endure boring engagement, so she wanted to try new things. The answer came when an offer to work on a jazz album knocked at the door. She couldn't resist the request. Payton had always wanted to leave the show midway through the 8th season, but was held down by a 2-year contract agreement. You guessed what happened next when her contract expired. She didn't renew it. She moved to start new creative interests. Another reason that triggered her dissatisfaction with the movie was the issue of divorce that she underwent. The divorce greatly affected her emotions, and she wanted a new challenge that would take her attention, not a routine activity with no new spark to charge her curiosity. When the opportunities for new projects came and her contract expired, she didn't think twice. Following her departure, Judy-Ann Elder took over the role of Henriette Winslow. Her departure caused great tension within the cast, and her former colleagues faulted her harsh decision. Later, when her opinion about the matter was demanded, she expressed no resentment towards her former co-star and didn't regret her action. Why would she? The show was canceled a few episodes later, and its rating was already declining. The move was more of a visionary move to prevent the collapsing house from hitting her. Number 9. Issues that culminated to the cancellation of the show. It is no news that Family Matters was abruptly canceled in Season 9, although the show got credit as one of the long-lasting family sitcom shows. Still, it didn't end on the path of glory. Some underlying issue led to its forceful cancellation. As said earlier, one of the most significant issues was the departure of Jo Marie Payton. The departure caused a big rift among the cast. At the same time, fans attached to Jo Marie Payton playing Harriet Winslow couldn't allow Judy-Ann Elder to prove herself. Instead, they resorted to criticism. Since the Harriet role is one of the leading roles, the backlash from the replacement significantly impacted the show. Moreover, considering the show is already experiencing a significant rating decline towards Seasons 8 and 9, Payton's exit was more or less like the last straw that broke the camel's back. But that was not the last straw anyway. There was another issue about the new time slot switch. The show's time slot was changed from its regular time slot. The sponsor wanted to put forward a raving new show since Family Matters was already suffering a significant decline. The time slot change eventually killed the ailing show. The big crisis surrounding the changed time slot stemmed from somewhere. Let's dig into it in the following fact. Number 8. Network change. Do you realize the quick change that took Family Matters from the ABC channel to the CBC? The change was a sharp one that might not get your attention. Here is the rundown of what happened behind the network change scene. The changes occurred in 1997 when CBS contacted Miller Boyett Productions, the original producer of the show, with a juicy deal of $40 million to acquire their two ongoing shows, Step by Step and Family Matters. CBS wanted a show that would spark the interest of their viewers since their ongoing show isn't bringing the desired success. They wanted something that could compete with ABC's TGIF lineup. Miller Boyett Production could have declined the offer since ABC Production was not doing badly after they offered $1.5 million per episode for the 9th and 10th seasons, which was a reasonable offer. But the issue is not about the money. There was an ongoing crisis. ABC's parent company, Capital Cities ABC Incorporated, was bought by Walt Disney in 1996, and a merger happened. Miller Boyett feared that Walt Disney's coming into the picture could give their show a tough time, since Walt Disney is a production company with a wide array of dramas up their sleeve. The offer from CBS was accepted to prevent the possibility of unhealthy competition. CBS was given the right for a 22-episode season for Family Matters and Step by Step. Family Matters failed to achieve the desired success on CBS. The ratings were declining, and CBS couldn't take any chances, so they introduced a new show, Kid Says the Darndest Thing. The children-focused show was gaining good ratings, and CBS decided to place the show in the hotspot time slot of Family Matters, while Family Matters was shifted an hour later. That became a catastrophic decision. Number 7. Jalil White wanted to insert a violating material in the show. When he took the Steve Urkel role, Jalil White was still a young boy. He might have had little knowledge of the standards guiding broadcast, but when a colleague tried to correct him, he should have considered it. He rejected the correction, which led to his altercation with Jo Marie Payton. This happened during a season when Steve was scripted to act as a gangster, a big difference from his typical goofy, funny Urkel character. In doing the role, he attempted to insert material that violated broadcast standards and practices. This became a dispute, and Jo Marie Payton couldn't understand why the young Jalil White should go against correction. She perceived the reason as the so much power he had over the show's production. This is one of the reasons Jo Marie Payton is turned off. She just has to quit the show. Number 6. Jalil White penned down the script of some episodes. It is not hard to trace Jalil White's strong influence on the show. His character was already dominating, giving the show excellent ratings and drawing an increasing number of fans every week. It got to a point that the show was tilting to focus only on Jalil White. Jalil White acted in the movie and joined the production team. Reports have it that White wrote several episodes for the show. Even one of those episodes got the series the highest rating for that year. What is the age at which he wrote this script? He was just 19 years old. This fact further reveals the creative energy that White put into the show to achieve its remarkable success. Number 5. The cultural impact of Family Matters. Let's take a quick look at the show's resulting impact on cultures and lifestyles. The show gave significant representation to African American families on television. This was one of the least explored realities in the 90s television series. The movie showcased a middle-class family and produced a relatable story around it. The style became a groundbreaking one. Steve Urkel turned out to be an iconic brand, with different businesses and media houses building inspiration around his character. His fashion sense, the suspenders, eyeglasses, and pants, became a culture among teenagers. Everyone wants to have the nerd look like Steve. We should also discuss his catchphrase, "Did I do that?" The funny expression almost found its way into everyone's speech. People came up with that word whenever they made a goofy mistake. Jalil's impact was huge. Another issue to look at was the family dynamics the show brought out. The show portrayed relationships between parents, children, and extended family, giving a desired model for family values. The show's influence also extended to pop culture. The show has been referenced and parodied by various forms of media. Music artists have made caricatures of the characters on the show, especially Steve Urkel, and other aspects of the show have been spoofed by film and television. You can still find the traces of the show's influence in today's setting. Number 4. Why are all Steve Urkel's inventions failing? One of the most amusing parts of the show is when Steve Urkel comes up with his goofy inventions. There are various numbers of this invention. The jetpack was built to climb a rope in gym class, but it blasted him through Winslow's roof. Do you also remember the Urkelbot? A robot Steve invented to act like him? Can you judge who was funnier between Steve and Urkelbot? The shrink machine was also another eye-rolling invention. Everyone wants to hear about a machine that could shrink that big stuff to a pocket-sized object, just like Ant-Man. Oops, you will be disappointed once more. The machine malfunctioned, shrinking Steve and Carl down to 2-inch doll size. What could be funnier than that? Do you also have other Steve's inventions that got you rolling on the floor with laughter? Let us know in the comments. Number 3. Who played Myrtle Urkl? Do you remember Myrtle Urkl, Steve's cousin? She was a wealthy, beautiful Southern lady from Biloxi, Mississippi. She appeared in several episodes and was known to have a love crush on Eddie Winslow. Though Eddie never liked Myrtle, she still pursued him. Myrtle added another interesting, funny flow to the movie. Hope you know that Jalil White was the one behind that character. Did you just scream, "Wow," just now? Then you belong to many people who couldn't recognize Jalil in the costume. Number 2. How many episodes did the show have? Let's get you a quick rundown of the show's episode. The show had 215 episodes spanning across 9 seasons. Each season comes with an average of 23 episodes. The first episode premiered on September 2022 on the ABC channel. The show was primarily hosted on the ABC channel for 8 seasons, but the 9th season was aired on CBS. Number 1. Who are Steve Urkel's parents? We know the Winslow family, the father, mother, children, and cousin. Did anyone know Steve Urkel's parents? Well, the only thing we know about his parents is the occasional mention of Diane Urkel, the mother, and Herb Urkel, the father. They never appeared in the show. We only have Myrtle Urkel's appearance, a cousin of Steve Urkel. Steve was always visiting or living with the Winslow family. It seems his family is too dull to get a spot on the show. Thank God they gave us a nerdy, funny, and great inventor son, Steve, who added great fun to the show. How weird was it that Steve's parents didn't appear in the show? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Like and share this video and click the next one on your screen.